So I've been joining my hexagons. I'm going to show you how to join them. Now, the amount I made, I'm joining 4 large ones together, 4 large ones, and then each line I'll get a half a one. And I'll show you this. This is my blanket. So on this strip, I have a full one, a full one, a full one, a full one, and then a half. This side, it's a full one, a full one, a full one, and a half. I did them all with 4 and then a half, and I just turned them. So that one's got the half on that side. This strip's got the half on that side. Then I turned the next strip so that I had a full one and my half was on here. And what that does is that enables you to have a straight edge at the top and bottom. Now you'll be thinking it looks strange at this corner, but this strip that I have here will go on this side. So I've got a half a one, a full one, a half a one, a full one, and I'll finish that strip with a half, and then the rest of my strip will be added in down there, and that'll make a nice sort of straight top. So I've got a full hexagon and a half to join in. I'm going to get my white yarn and I'll show you how to do that. I'll show you how to do the full one. Now these full ones have got a right side and a wrong side. You can tell the wrong side it's kind of flat and the right side is quite pretty. So this is the right side. So you put a right side and face it in, and you've got the wrong side here and the wrong side on this one. I'll bring that up a little bit. Now we're going to start by joining these V-stitches together, these corners with these corners. Make sure you've got them the right side facing each other. I'm going to go through the V-stitch, go through the middle of the V-stitch and go through the middle of this V-stitch, and I'm going, make sure you've got enough to sew in the end, because you'll have to sew in the end to secure it. Wrap my tail end around twice just to help to hold it in, and we're going to do 1 chain. Now that's locked it all in. Now the way we're going to join it is through these spaces and the spaces on this side. So I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to come across to this first space and do a UK double crochet. Now this is a single crochet if you're in the USA, into that space. Now this is the same way I'm going to join the half hexagon, and the same way I joined it all the way up the side, the way I joined my strips together. Chain 2, 1, 2. Now find the corresponding one on this side. So we've done that V one. We're going in here and do your double crochet or single crochet, whatever country you're in. Chain 2. Now move across to this side, to this one, and lock it in. Oops. Go into this one and lock it in and chain 2. Now we're going across. Now that one's got 1 in it, so we're going over to this one. We're going back and forward, back and forward. Now chain 2 and over to the next one. Chain 2 and then go over to that one. Now we're going to chain 2 and then just move back. So we're just going to weave back and forward. We'll be keeping the 2 corners together. So we've done that one, we've done that one. So we're going over to this one, chain 2, over to that one, and they should all line up. Chain 2 and zigzag back and forward across these spaces. It doesn't take long to join them. Now you can, if you can do join as you go, you can do join as you go. Chain 2, back to that one, into that space, chain 2. Now what we're going to do is, we've only got the corner spaces left. We're going to go through the corner stitches, just like we did at the beginning. Just push it through the stitches. Once you sew it, you'll be able to secure that a lot more. Pull through, cut your yarn, give yourself a decent amount of yarn to sew in. Pull that through, and this is the wrong side, and there you go, you've got all your right sides together. Now just give it a little stretch out, and you'll see that what you've done is you've just made you can hardly see it, you've just made a little zigzag back and forward. Take your darning needle and we're going to sew in the ends. Just sew through those V-stitch parts. And then you can make your yarn disappear down some of these posts. Then I'm going to trim it off and then do the other side. And that's, we've got 4 joined together. Now you'll do that the amount that you want in your line, and then either side, it doesn't matter, you can turn this around to fit the big blanket. Now that's the correct side. Now we've got this half. Now the half one, because we turned it, it doesn't matter which way you put the half on. We're going to do the same. Just lay, we're going to join it here, and chain 2, join, chain 2, join, chain 2, all the way down to the V-stitch here on these corners. So if you put it right side in, like this, and we'll do the same thing. Put your hook right through the V-stitch. Put it through the stitches in the V-stitch and through the stitches in this V-stitch. Get your yarn again. Make sure you leave enough of a tail to sew in, and pull through those stitches. I'm going to wind my tail around 2 times, 1 and 2. It's going to help hold it in as well. Pull the stitch so it's small. Shh. And I'm going to chain 2, 1 and 2. Not, you can hear a noise outside. So again, we're just going to weave between each of these chains. So we'll go into the first chain, chain 2, and go back to this corresponding side that matches it. Chain 2. You should have the same amount of chain spaces along. Let's go into the next one. Doesn't take long. And into the next one. You can do the join as you go when you make one hexagon, and when you do the last round of your hexagon you can join it to the next one. But I found with this pattern I lost some of the last round, so I'm just doing it this way. 1, 2, it's easier for me. So I've got one in there. Just make sure you don't go back into that one again. Go across to the next one. 1, 2. If it doesn't line up when you get to your V-stitches, you'll know that you've done something wrong. So just pull it out and do it again. So we've done that one. We're going into this one. 1, 2. And as you see, it's not taking very long at all. So you can join all your parts and then go back and tie in the tails. Or you can do it as you go. So we've got that last one there to do. Chain 2 and into that last one. Now I'm going to chain 2 so that I can get to my V-stitches. So go through the middle of your V-stitch, catch a few of the stitches in it, and through the middle stitch of this one. And pull your yarn through and through the 2 loops, and that's that one done. This is the right side of the blanket, and I've got a half here. So to keep it straight, if you say, how do I know if I've got it straight? See, that's going to fit into there like that. It'll all fit in like that inside right to the end, and then that half will fit there. So you know you've got it wrong when you try and do it like that and it won't fit. So you know you need to put that half down the other side. So make sure it's right side up and right side up, and we're going to move it over here like this. Now this point, as you can see, that's going to fit into there, so it's going to join here. So we're going to put that way. Just put it like that. Now this one is going to join to this one, and that's going to fit in. We're going to fit it in as we join it along. It will go like this. Each one will fit in. So I've got it lined up to join. Now it looks as if it's not going to, but it will, because you're going to, once you've got that corner there, you're going to work it down like that. So I'm going to put my hook through my V-stitches, just the way I showed you just a few minutes ago. Just put it through the V-stitch. Get my yarn, make sure I've got enough tail to sew the end in, and pull it through. Wrap that around 1 and 2. That's going to hold it in a little bit. Tighten your stitch down. And we're going to chain 2. So 1 and 2. And again, we're just going to match up these chain spaces. So we've got one here I'm going to chain 2 and go to the one on this side. Chain 2. It does get really quick. Make sure you don't go into the same chain space twice. And then over to the next one. Then back to this side. Chain 2 and over to this side, over to that side, chain 2 and move to this side. Just make sure you don't go through the same one twice. And then we're going to work out a little granny stitch along the edge just to keep it all nice and neat. So to start with, you'll do a chain of 3 just to start it. Well, I've already got mine done, so I don't need to do that. So you're going to put a set of 3 stitches in, a granny stitch, into there. So I've got that 1, 2 and 3. So that's my first cluster. I'm going to chain 2. So when you start, you'll start your yarn in there, chain 3, do 2 stitches, and that'll complete, that'll make a set of 3 for you with your chain. Chain 2 and do another one. So put another cluster in, and that'll help your corner. Now when you go all the way around, you'll just slip stitch to that first one there once you've went all the way around, and then you can do another round if you want. So what I did after that was, so I'm going to chain 1 and then I'm going to move into this sort of second space, space them out but not too far apart. I maybe need to move that one in a little bit. So I'm going to go into that first space here and put a cluster in. 1, 2 and 3. Chain 1 and I'm going to move over. Once I get to the actual whole hexagons, I put my clusters in to the double crochet spaces, or that's a single crochet if you're in the USA. That's where I put my clusters. And up the sides, it's much easier up and down the sides. I put each of my granny clusters into these little stitches. At the point, I put 2 in. At the point, I put a cluster, 2 chain and a cluster, and I worked my way down. But when I got down to the V part, I put 1 into this stitch. I didn't do a chain and I went straight over to that side, and that kept it in a V. I'll show you that when we get around there. So I'm just going to work, I'm going to skip that space and go into the next space. Chain 1. I'm going to skip sort of that space and go in to the space here. Just keep them nice and even. I might go into the bottom of that there. And if you can hear a noise, it's Muttley playing around with his ball. So I'm going to just work my way evenly across this flat edge. So this is the bottom. Muttley's just throwing his ball. Now the thing to remember is when you've done this edge, make sure you put the same number of clusters on the other edge. I'm going to put 2 rounds on. I'll finish this straight edge and then I'll come back and I'll show you how to do that down part and then the top part of the peak, and then work your way down this peak edge. So I've got round to the V-stitch on the corner and I put one cluster in. I've done a chain 2 and I'm going to put one more cluster in, and that'll bring us around the corner. Do my chain 1. So it's much easier to work the pattern out now because we're going to use these UK double crochets. These are single crochets if you're in the USA, and I'll show you how I kept the pattern on this. Into each one I've put a cluster, so it will work around the hexagons. Chain 1 and move over to the next stitch here. Chain 1, move to the next one. I'm going to chain 1 and move down. Now, as you can see, we're going down like this. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to put one into either one of these little V-stitches where we've joined our hexagons together. So one here and one here. And I'm not going to put a chain in between. So I'm just going to pull it straight across to there. I need to do a yarn over first into that V-stitch. And then do your chain 1 and move along up to the peak. Now at the peak we're going to put 2 in. We're going to put one cluster, 1, then we're going to chain 2 and put one more in, 2 into the peak. And then work our way down, and when we get here we'll put one here and one over here, but don't do a chain when you do those ones, and you'll get this. This is what you'll get. You'll have this. It'll look like this. Now when you do your next round, I'm not going to video the next round. The next round you'll just put one cluster into each of these spaces, but when you get down to this section, put one here and go straight over and put one there, and don't do a chain in between, and that'll keep that V shape. Then work into each space, and then at the top you'll put one cluster, 2 chain and one cluster, then work your way down, and again at this one you'll put one in here. There's my V there. We're going to put one here and one here. Don't put one in that middle. Put one there and one there, and then work your way up. And then when you're doing the top and the bottom, whoops, I think I've got it back to front. And then I've got my top done. I'm just going to put one into each space all the way along. I'll put one into each space, and that should give me a nice border, and it'll keep the peaks on the side. I'll show you that once I've done it. So I've got my blanket all done. I've done the edges and you can see how the peaks are done. I've done across the top and I've done along the bottom. Now, I don't know whether, leave a comment and let me know if you think I should put a round of this lilac on and then one more of the white. Or do you think I should just leave it as it is or put another round of the white on? I don't know if the lilac, one more of the lilac will help sort of to break it up a little bit. But that's it finished, and look at this. This is beautiful. Beautiful lace in between these patterns of flowers. Now you can, like I said, do it all in one colour. Now there is lots of these on Pinterest by lots and lots of different people, but I followed that book that I showed you in the other video. That's where I saw this first. But it's been around for a long time. It's been around, that book's been around for about 20 years. So there's plenty on Pinterest. If you type in hexagon, and I put in, when I was looking to see if anyone else had did this, I typed in Google, crochet hexagon, six leaf, crocheted 6-leaf hexagon, and then this had sort of popped up. I was trying to think what could it be called. It's not got a name for it in the book, and it's not got a name on the book. But anyway, there's lots of different ones. There's other ones where they've put a granny stitch around this, and I did see yesterday when I was looking again, there is a few people have put on interest the actual graph and the pattern for half a size of it as well. And a lot of people have used it in different ways. They've put it as one colour, they've put it in more than one colour. If you make that lilac really light, and it'll help to blend in with the white and it'll stand out even more. I think it's nice like that. I think it's really pretty like that. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. It really helps to be seen on YouTube. There are so many crochet channels now on YouTube. There's triple the amount that used to be when I was first on it. And we're going back now, what, 8-9 years or so. So if you subscribe to the channel, it's completely free. And if you click on the bell icon, YouTube will tell you when I put up another tutorial. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. But leave a little comment and let me know what you think about putting a round of that lilac in that border. And then maybe one more round of the granny stitch in the white around it just to top it off. So until the next time, happy crafting, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.